everybody, this is Izzy here coming to you with my review for Terminator Dark Fate. It is 10:02 p.m. I just finished watching the film, actually. And before I get into the whole details of this review, I want to go ahead and explain something regarding the whole quality features of the Terminator films. I understand that this is the 5th Terminator film of the franchise, and that there are a lot of people who feel like the Terminator franchise should have ended with Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I understand those statements, and I don't necessarily disagree with them to a degree. However, I will say that when it comes to the Terminator storyline, there are a lot of concepts that I feel that deserve to be explored. It's very important to go into any Terminator sequel with, I hate to say low expectations, but that's about the closest accurate description I can give. Terminator 2 is by far one of the greatest films to have ever been made. It paved the way for science fiction in general, paved the way for the computer-generated imagery that we know of today, and it is highly regarded as one of the greatest films ever made. With that said, you cannot recreate these films. These films will never ever happen again as far as the franchise is concerned. Now, I think the only way that they might get close to happening again to this degree is James Cameron getting involved in a directorial and writer capacity. However, these films, they're hard to come by. They set such a huge bar that anything that's going to come after them is going to be a complete disappointment. And it's very important to maintain your expectations in a realistic fashion. With that said, again, 2 great films, as I think majority of people who have actually watched both of these films will agree that there's nothing greater than these. This, in particular, wasn't bad, but it could have been better. The potential was there, but it could have been better. Again, this, much like Terminator Rise of the Machines, decent, could have been better. A great idea, but executed poorly. I have no idea what they were attempting to do with this, but this was a huge mess as far as clusterness was concerned. So, I don't even know. I still, to this very day, have no idea what they were attempting to do with this, but whatever. And this was... I caught a few episodes of this, the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles, when it was on television, and it wasn't bad. I thought it had some pretty decent ideas, but with that said, it's it's fairly underrated. But I do recommend it. Terminator Dark Fate. How can I put this? I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy the storyline. I don't want to give to anybody any type of spoilers, because there's a huge major spoiler that has happened to catch on a Discord chat that was in the format of a YouTube video, and it disappointed me greatly to the point where I didn't even want to watch the film at first, because I felt it was absolutely such an insult to the character, and from a creative and character standpoint, it didn't make sense for this major character to be that unprepared for the unlikely event that was about to occur. However, I went in with an open mind and with low expectations, and I have to say, Terminator Dark Fate, from the reviews that I've read, say is vastly superior to the recent sequels. And when statements like that are made, you have to understand that wasn't exactly a hard thing to do. It's not exactly hard to be better than Terminator Rise of the Machines and Terminator Genesis and Terminator Salvation. It's not exactly hard to be better than those films. It is literally impossible to be better than this. So, when I heard that they were making another Terminator, I was a bit hesitant at first, and then when I found out that they managed to get Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger back for obvious reasons, and that the director of Deadpool, Tim Miller, was attached to direct this film, and that James Cameron was involved in the producer capacity, I felt, okay, this is something that I could probably get on board with. The storyline involves a new Terminator from a different timeline, that has come to Earth, come to the present, and is on the prowl, hunt, if you will, of eliminating the new future resistance leader. And I thought that it was very, very good. The action was spectacular. It was very nice to see them actually go into a different direction as far as the timeline is concerned, because the whole Skynet format, I felt, was becoming a bit old hat, basically cliche. It was getting to the point to where every single Terminator film that was being released was following the same format, and my dream Terminator film, in actuality, it would be a proper future war film that shows Skynet taking over and eliminating all of humanity via the nuclear war. But hey, you can't always get what you want. But with this one in particular, I thought it was very cool how they managed to incorporate the uses of technology and how the advancement of technology has more or less become the downfall of humanity. And with that said, with this new technological AI program that has come to fruition, if you will, has deemed humanity as a threat and uses it to slowly but surely eradicate the last of the human race. And I thought it was very interesting how they more or less painted a picture of what it would be like if the end of the world was to actually occur. Maybe it wouldn't be instantaneous, but it's still enough of a tragic event that you can't help but know that eventually, when the fallout happens, it's not necessarily going to be anything that makes people turn into this superhuman soldier. But I thought that was fairly good. I thought it was very entertaining. I really did enjoy it. The performances of Lyndall Hamilton as Sarah Connor and Arnold Schwarzenegger as a T-800 model was top-notch. It was very nice to see them on the big screen again, interact with one another, and engaging in some exciting action spectacles. Mackenzie Davis plays Grace, this superhuman augmented soldier that has been sent from 2042 to protect this character Danny, who is I don't want to give any spoilers, but she is the key to the future that is supposed to happen much later on, and it was good. I really did enjoy it. It was fun. It was exciting. It's very important to go into a Terminator sequel and not expect it to be anything other than what you are realistically expected it to be. I knew that it wasn't going to have the same emotionality factor. I knew it wasn't going to have the same character development, and I knew it wasn't going to be that much deeper into the Terminator mythology. I will say that there are some cool callbacks to previous Terminator films, and I'm going to say it's callbacks to every single Terminator film that you can imagine, with Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Salvation, Genesis. There are some very cool Easter eggs that just make you actually has you just thinking back to how, for me personally, how it was for me when I was watching Terminator 2 on the big screen. I just could not believe my eyes. But it was a step in the right direction, and given how it's ended, it's going to be they left it open for another one, folks. So I'm just going to go ahead and just let that cat out of the bag. They left it open for another one. There will be another one, providing how well this does at the box office. But again, I will say the villain of the film, the Rev 9, is a culmination of a TX and a T1000 and T800 all combined into one lethal Terminator machine. And given how advanced the special effects are today, I will say his presentation, it's very hard to, I guess, recapture. Well, not very hard. Impossible to recapture the menacing nature that was Robert Patrick with the T-1000 in Terminator 2. He was probably one of the most frightening and creepiest villains of all the Terminator franchise. And it's very hard. It's impossible to have another actor to attempt to replicate that sense of menacing charisma. He did a great job. I mean, but it's been done before, so it's very, very hard to more or less become that much more invested into this villain, because you know that nothing is ever going to come close to what Robert Patrick did, even what Arnold Schwarzenegger did with the first Terminator film. But through it all, I really did enjoy it. It was fun. It was entertaining, a step in the right direction. I feel that maybe this is what Rise of the Machines should have been, or maybe this is what Salvation should have been, or maybe this is what Genesis should have been. It's just one of those type of films where you look at it, and as you're watching it, you're finding yourself stating mentally, "Wow, man, maybe this if they had taken this direction before, maybe the sequels that came after wouldn't have been as polarized as they were." But either way, I can live with it because the quality wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. It didn't make me feel as if I was wasting my time. It did exactly what it needed to do. I kept my expectations severely realistic and low, and I came out completely satisfied. It was very good. I highly recommend it. I really do. Schwarzenegger was one of my heroes growing up as a kid, and he is a product of my childhood. And I can remember growing as a child, because I was so fascinated with how charismatic and how chiseled and muscular he was, that I had this goal in my head that I would do 12 push-ups or 12 sit-ups in one day, and thought that I would have a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger. My own mother will tell you that Schwarzenegger was literally one of my biggest heroes growing up. I mean, I don't want to use the word worship, but I looked up to him as a human being and as an actor. And I can remember when teachers would ask me what I wanted to be when I grow up, I always told them I want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want to be a movie star. I want to be just like him when I grow up. And that's how much of an effect that he had on me during my childhood. I mean, he was literally my top celebrity role model. I mean, it was Michael Jackson, tied with Michael Jackson, then Jean-Claude Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone. I mean, those were my three heroes from the 80s and even the 90s. And it's very nice to see Schwarzenegger actually be on the big screen again and doing what he does best, is being the fact that he still has it at his age. He still has that same charisma and that same comedic timing, that he just still exudes that whole larger than life personality that you just simply can't help but embrace and enjoy. But when it comes to Terminator Dark Fate, there's great action. There's some interesting emotional bits. They don't get too much deeper into the whole new Terminator concept from the new AI. You get bits and pieces, but I'm assuming that they're going to save that for the sequel, provided that it does well at the box office. The future sequences that they exhibited, and there's also what I really did love about this film, how they literally made some really cool callbacks to Terminator 2 and using old archival footage. But the future sequences of this film, I thought, were amazingly well done, and I sincerely hope that this is a concept that they explore in future sequels, because the future sequences were just top notch in my opinion. Just great special effects, great action, and it has that whole down, dirty, gritty, bleak scenario that we've all been accustomed to when it comes to these films. But as a whole, Terminator Dark Fate, I give it a 2 thumbs up. I really, absolutely do. Again, it's not exactly hard to be much better than the sequels that came before this one, but either way, it's still great and enjoyable, and I hope that everybody does get at least give it a chance. I feel that it's deserving at least of 1 viewing, maybe 2 viewings, and I hope everybody does get a chance to watch it, actually. With that said, 2 thumbs up, a 5 out of 5. I don't know what my next review is going to be. I'm going to have to look at the next viewings, next release dates when it comes to certain films. I do apologize for not having reviews for Countdown and or I don't even know what came out with Countdown, but either way, those films that were released, or Black and Blue, excuse me, Countdown, Black and Blue, those films didn't particularly interest me, so I didn't go out of my way to watch them or even thought about doing a review for them. But either way, next release, I'm not exactly sure what it'll be, but when I find out, you'll be the first to know. Terminator Dark Fate, 2 thumbs up, 5 out of 5. Go watch it, highly recommend it, and I will see you all again. My friends, take care and be safe, and happy Halloween!